It's Dr. MUSO. Today we want to talk about an A-level question. We want to talk about the Iron Age people, the Iron Age communities. What took place during the Iron Age? Did the introduction of iron technology improve the ways of life of these people? So here is our question for today. We are assessing the impact of the introduction of iron. The introduction of iron, did it bring some positivities? Did it bring some negativities on the early Iron Age Zimbabwean communities? Remember, when we are assessing, we are closely looking on iron. For example, this is our iron. We are closely looking on iron, and we are saying that this iron, did it bring good or did it bring bad? Did it bring positivities? Did it bring what? Negativities. That is what we want to talk about today. So we are going to divide our question into two. We are going to talk about the benefits that was brought by the introduction of iron, and we also talk about the non-what benefits. So that is what we are going to be doing today. So let's start with the benefits. So number one, we look on the economy. So the introduction of iron technology, it had so many positivities in terms of the economy. Which were these positivities? We talk about agriculture. Agriculture, it started because of the introduction of iron technology. People were now using axes. People were now making axes. The axes, they were used to cut down trees. So when they were cutting down trees now, they had to use hoes now to tilt land. They had to use iron tools to cultivate their crops. So we are saying that the introduction of iron technology, it brought so many good positivities on the ways of life of the early Iron Age communities. Then we also talk about pastoralism. People were now keeping animals such as a cattle, a sheep, and a goat. Food productivity, it extended. Food productivity, it improved. Why? Because they were keeping a cattle, a sheep, and what? And a goat. We also see that trade also started. People were now trading using iron tools. For example, you brought your iron tool, then I gave you something. So people were now exchanging using these iron tools that they were now manufacturing or that they were now making. You also talk about a tribute payment. People were now paying a tribute to their leaders to show respect or loyalty. So you could pay tribute to your chief using an iron tool, and that on its own, it led these people to improve their ways of life economically. Then you also talk about mining activities. These people were now involved in mining. They were now mining iron ore. They were now mining iron ore and also copper. By mining now, they were in a position of getting these iron tools. So the iron technology, we see that it brought so many positivities on the ways of life of these people. Then we also talk about hunting. Hunting was done, but now they were hunting big games such as elephants, such as giraffes, such as hippopotamus. Why? It is because of the iron technology. So because of the spears that they were now making, because of the axes that they were now making now, they could hunt big games. The big games now, it led them to have a lot of food at their disposal. So you talk about these economical changes that took place because of the introduction of iron technology. Then we move on, we talk about the political changes or the political positivities that were brought by the introduction of iron technology. Politically now, these people, they were now led by a chief. The chief was now responsible for what was taking place in their communities or in their areas. We also see that these people now, they were now having a standing army, an army that was supposed to maintain law and order, an army that was supposed to raid neighboring tribes, an army that was supposed to fight during the times of battles or during the times of war. So these were some of the positivities that were brought politically as a result of the introduction of iron technology. Then we move on, we talk also about social changes. What were the social changes that came as a result of iron technology? Number one, we talk about beliefs. These people, they started to believe in God, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And this brought people together. They were now believing also in the existence of the ancestral spirits, believing in God and also ancestral spirits. It brought these people together. There was unity, there was togetherness, there was harmony. Why? Because they had the same beliefs. Then number two, we also talk about culture. We see that different cultures started to exist because of the introduction of iron technology. We see that they were now dancing for the new and the full moon. They were now telling stories. One day, they were now telling their children stories, informing their children about norms and values. They were also playing games. They were also doing different cultures in these different societies. Then you move on, you also talk about lineage. They started to stay together. People who were using the same totem, they were now staying together. So you talk about the issue of lineage. Then eventually now you talk about the issue of division of what? Of labor. Labor was now divided. Men were supposed to perform certain duties. Women were supposed to perform certain duties. The social classes now coming into play. The miners, the herders, the cultivators, the gatherers, the traders. These social classes, they are coming. Why? Because of the introduction of iron technology. So we are seeing that iron technology, it brought economical, political, and social changes. But despite these changes, there were some non-benefits that were brought by iron technology. These changes now, we see that they affected the people in the sense that raidings became what are common. People were now raiding what are each other. People were now what are taking goods, commodities that they were now possessing. Wars also became what are common. People were now fighting against each other. So because of that, now people were affected by the introduction of iron technology, because it was war after war, killing each other. Why? Because of the introduction of iron technology. They also talk about overpopulation. People were now too many. Why? Because of iron productivity. Food was now practiced. Agriculture was practiced, and agriculture, it led these people to have a lot of food. Having a lot of food, it led them to have as many children as possible. So overpopulation led to scarcity of resources. People started to fight over scarce resources. So we see that iron technology, it brought in this problem of overpopulation. Then eventually you talk about migration. Those people that were defeated, they migrated to other areas. They left, they abandoned their areas. So we are seeing that iron technology, it brought some negativities. At the same time, it brought so many positive changes. That is what we have on this question. And thank you so much. It's Dr. MUSO.